Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this regular City Council meeting of May 20th, 2024. The time is now a little bit after 6 p.m. and may we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Dennehy? Absent. Councilmember Maloney?
Here.
Councilmember Schmischer?
Here.
Councilmember Stein?
Here.
Councilmember Tracy?
Here.
Councilmember Worthington?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Hamrick?
Here.
Mayor Troutman? Absent.
And it looks like we do not have an invocation tonight, so please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Do we have any citizens present who wish to address council tonight? Not seeing a rush towards the microphone, we'll move on to council member announcements. Councilmember Tracy.
Thanks, Mayor Pro Tem. Just a couple of public service announcements in regard to the Cotter Superfund site. We have our regular monthly meeting of the Community Advisory Group tomorrow. It's an in-person meeting, so the regulatory staff from the state and federal agencies will be there for the most part in person. We're meeting at 3 p.m. at the Quality Inn this time. And I wanted to mention, too, that I'm not sure what the latest is, but about a month or perhaps more than a month ago, the State Department of Public Health and Environment sent letters out to private well owners in the Lincoln Park area that have been on the monitoring program for some period of time. In previous years, those letters were sent out by the site owner, such as Cotter Corporation, and then more recently, Colorado Legacy Land, or CLL. But because CLL has been in a position of insolvency for over a year now, the State Department of Public Health and Environment is having to contract for the work that happens at the site. And so it was the State Department of Public Health and Environment that sent the letters out. As of the meeting last month, they had not gotten a very good return rate from people who have private wells in that monitoring program. They basically just need permission to access the wells for the regular monitoring. And so just making a note of it today at this meeting in case anyone's listening in who knows about the situation there. Even citizens have been working to try to get the word out on that so that we make sure that that monitoring program remains robust enough to be meaningful for the private well testing in that area. That's all.
Councilmember Tracy, on that issue, the CDPHE is merely requesting a reaffirmation of access rights, is that correct?
That's correct. That's
And
correct.
it's not a true water use survey at this time?
No,
Just kind of
access
updating
to
the records?
That's right.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Councilmember Schmischer.
Thank you. I just wanted to give a shout out to a partnership in our area between the AHRA, CPW, our school district, and RG Rio. All of the third graders in our schools now have free PFDs, which should make for a very fun summer of floating and safety on the Arkansas River. So just want to commend those governmental organizations as well as nonprofit organizations for coming together to provide such a great resource for the kiddos in our community.
Thank you for that. I do have an announcement. Some of you may know, but the software that is used for dispatching emergency responders for our citizens through the 911 center is now, the new software is now up and functioning. And the software vendor has offered to give us a presentation on the kind of the capabilities of the software, and I think that will be scheduled at some future time. It's pretty interesting. I've sat down through several different presentations, and it's really light years ahead of what we have been using, and I think that there are some features that council will be really interested in as far as crime reporting and the kind of information that we might expect to see at some point once the system has been up and running long enough to get some meaningful numbers. So that will be at some point in the future. Okay, any other announcements? Seeing none. We are now moving to recognitions and proclamations. We have Public Works Week of May 19th through the 25th, 2024. And the mayor will be signing this proclamation, and we need to read this. Do you all have the proclamation? You want to start, Councilmember
Sure.
Schmischer, and read a paragraph, and we'll just go around that way.
Happy to. Office of the Mayor Proclamation, National Public Works Week, Connecting the World Through Public Works, May 19th to the 25th, 2024. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of Canyon City, Colorado, and
whereas these infrastructure facilities and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our city's transportation, water supply, water treatment, parks, fleet, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens, and
Whereas it is in the public interest for the civic leaders, residents, and visitors in Canyon City, Colorado, to gain knowledge of and to maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works in their respective communities. And
Whereas the year 2024 marks the 64th Annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association, be it now.
Resolved, Mayor Preston Troutman does hereby designate the week, May 19th through 25th, 2024, as National Public Works Week. And he invites all citizens to pay tribute to our public works employees and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our national health, safety, and quality of life.
thank you, sorry, Councilmember Worthington.
It's to their benefit.
And we have our Public Works Director here, Leo Evans. Leo, do you want to talk to us a little bit?
Good evening and thank you. This is a special week for all of us in Public Works. A lot of the work that we do is very much behind the scenes, very much not front-facing, yet it's a very important part of everything that happens in the city. You know, everything from being able to turn on your faucet and get fresh water to driving your car down a street, you know, or enjoying a public park, or even being in this very building requires the dedicated work of all the public works staff in the city. And not only our own staff, but, you know, I would be without giving kudos to all the staff that work at the county and the sanitation district that provide all the services that are so essential just to our everyday lives. So just want to take a minute, and I get to see it every day, and I get to appreciate the work that all the people do here in Public Works, but want to make sure they know that everybody else in this town sees it and appreciates their work as well.
Thank you for that. Any comments or questions from council? I would note, just on kind of a related subject, that it was in the national news that EPA has an immediate notice out to water treatment system operators about potential hacking and attack by perhaps those by foreign interests that may not have the best interest of our nation at heart. Have you received anything from the EPA, do you know, Leo?
I do get those notices. I believe Travis and Sean from our treatment plant do as well. Yeah, we get those quite frequently from EPA. So I know we're in the process of upgrading a lot of our SCADA controls that'll hopefully help safeguard us against that even better in the future.
Thank you. Now we move to the review of the agenda and consent agenda. And Mr. Administrator, would you care to do that for us?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Hamrick and members of council. Before I start reading the consent agenda, staff would ask that we remove items 8E and 8G from the consent agenda, and I will read all others. 8A is to approve minutes for the regular city council meeting on May 6th, the general government meeting on May 8th, and the special meetings on April 24th, which was Water Committee, April 25th, which was Visionary Broadband Open House, May 13th, which was the Energy Committee. 8B authorizes the city administrator to sign an extension to the Cooperative Management AHRA agreement. 8C awards bid 0224 9th Street Safe Routes to School bid award to Avalanche Excavating in an amount not to exceed $783,786. 8D awards bid 4224 200 block Main Street North Alley reconstruction to Avalanche Excavating in an amount not to exceed $139,359.62. 8F awards bid 4424 LIDAR to Applied Concepts in an amount not to exceed $7,237.50. 8H authorizes vehicle to be declared surplus and disposed of according to city purchasing policy. 8I, receive and file agreed upon procedures relating to 2A, that is our 2A procedures audit. 8J, receive and file monthly budget summary for March of '24. 8K is to receive and file cash disbursements, and 8L is to receive and file cash disbursements and P-card disbursements.
Thank you for that. Any discussion of the agenda or consent agenda? Councilmember Schmischer.
Thank you. Just a comment. I wanted to express my appreciation for the Safe Routes to Schools grant funding that was successfully sought, I think, by a few local citizens, the school district and the city 3 or 4 years ago now at this point, to get a sidewalk in to make sure that folks could, or to make sure that kids could safely get to and from school. So I know that that takes a lot of time and effort, but when it comes to the safety of our children and also being able to use grant dollars to do so, I think that that's really a win-win combination, and just want to give a shout out to all of the folks who made that possible. Thanks.
Thank you. Seeing no other corrections other than deleting item E and G, I'm open to a motion.
Mayor Pro Tem, I move that we accept the agenda as written, with the exception of E and G.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on that item? A roll call, please.
Councilmember Maloney,
Aye.
Schmischer,
Aye.
Stein,
Aye.
Tracy,
Aye.
Worthington,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Hamrick.
Aye. Thank you, council. And we now move to our city administrator's report. Mr. Stevens.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and members of council. You have the written report in the packet. A couple highlights. We are still working with Black Hills regarding the Clark Station property, trying to work out the details of some of the easements. We did have the grant writer, Brandy Sheets, and I had a really good presentation with GOCO last week, and hope to have their response to our request, our grant request, mid to late June. So that continues to move along. We have the pool feasibility study coming up, a joint meeting between City Council and the Rec District Board on Wednesday. That meeting is a 5 o'clock meeting. We have FEDC doing a presentation first, and then we will be joined by the Recreation District Board afterwards. And then my other note is regarding the favorite topic of feather flags, and we have some meetings later this week regarding feather flags in the Central Business District. However, we have a moratorium that's currently citywide, does not necessarily affect the entire city. So asking for council's guidance on moving forward with enforcement of our standing feather flag ordinance outside of the Central Business District.
Thank you. Any council member care to comment on that? Councilmember Schmischer.
Thank you. City Administrator Stevens, I've noticed that there have been many new feather flags kind of springing up around the city outside of the central business district during this moratorium period. Could you speak to kind of what process the city will be following to educate and to ensure business owners around town are aware of the policies and why they're in existence before enforcement begins?
Yeah, we did the same thing last year when we started enforcing the feather flag law after the COVID emergency was removed. So we have a video. We have we'll be reaching out to those who we see that have feather flags to inform them of the regulations. I know Patrick Mulready has reached out to some already that have feather flags to let them know that we are in a moratorium, and as we come out of the moratorium, we will be enforcing the feather flag regulations. So really providing probably about 30 days of education before we start any strict enforcement.
Councilmember Tracy?
I guess I wondered if you needed anything more precise from council as far as our blessing, as you asked for in your report. I'm in favor of moving in that direction, and certainly, the education piece of it and getting the word out through our public information person and so forth. That I do think we have to get back to what's in our ordinances or abandon them altogether. So just want to provide support for that.
Thank you.
So you need some thumbs?
Yeah, looking for a thumbs up. Yes, sir.
To be clear, this is only for outside of the central business district while those conversations continue.
That is correct.
Great clarification. Thank you. Anything else on your report?
Not happy to take any questions.
Any questions from council?
Yes.
Councilmember Stein?
Ryan, I was just wondering, I think, I would like, is there a way
Microphone
that
on.
we? Sorry. Ryan, is there a way that we could get more input from all the businesses? I mean, is there some kind of online survey that we could do that would give us, because I know the people that come to, the meetings and sessions that we've sponsored have been very passionate about it, but I know there's way more business owners downtown and in the greater area businesses throughout the town. Is there some way we could get a better idea of exactly how all the businesses feel about these feather flags?
Yeah, we've sent a survey out to building owners. I don't know that we've sent one out to individual businesses. We've done a lot of that through one-on-one conversations. We've heard a lot from folks who they let staff know what they think, but they don't want to come forward publicly in some instances. I think the next meeting that we have, we're inviting the Chamber of Commerce as well to try and hopefully get a broader sense of the overall feel regarding the topic.
Thank you for that. And now, our next item of business is a public hearing on a new liquor license, Hotel and Restaurant City, for Yummy Thai located at 1326 Main Street. And do we have a staff report?
I will turn it over to our city clerk to go through our liquor license.
Could you do me a favor and open the public hearing?
Oh, sorry. The public hearing is now open.
Thank you, sir. The Yummy Thai turned in all their paperwork. I'll be honest, this has been one of the easiest businesses I've worked with on a new license. They had everything in. We're ready to go. It's been a joy to do this one, and it went very smoothly, very quickly.
Good to hear. Would the applicant like to address us? If you would, tell us your names and tell us a little bit about your change in business plans here.
Hi, my name is Se Tribo. I'm a little short. Yeah, we are on Main Street, sell some Thai food, yummy Thai. Yeah, now we would like to do a little more business. If we can get a liquor license, I think it would be better for us that way. Thank you so much.
Sure. Any questions, concerns from council? You did go over all the training requirements and those types of issues with the applicant?
The state actually does not have any training requirements. We do offer training, and as soon as they would have a liquor license, they'll be invited to all of those. But the state does not require anything separate from that besides reading over the rules, which they have done.
Which they have done. Great. Thank you. All right. Is there any member of the public present who would like to speak? And seeing none, any other questions from council? Yes, Councilmember Schmischer.
Thank you. Do you plan to change your hours of operation or to change anything else other than just adding liquor items to your menu?
It will be the same hour, but we would like some wine, beer. That's all, I think.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Stein.
This is a question for both you and for Cindy. We've looked at the distance from the school, so there.
We actually have a ordinance that took that rule out. It was for something past this, and it was for the city, so we are good there.
Thank you. Any further questions? Then I will close the public hearing. And I'm open to a motion.
Mayor Pro Tem, I move that we approve a new liquor license, hotel and restaurant, city for Yummy Thai located at 1326 Main Street.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Maloney,
Aye.
Schmischer,
Aye.
Stein,
Aye.
Tracy,
Aye.
Worthington,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Hamrick.
Aye. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You have
Yeah.
wonderful food.
Thank you. Appreciate it, everyone.
Emphasis on the yummy.
Thank you so much.
All right, now we move on to our next item for discussion, addition of the fire district property to the urban renewal boundary. And Mr. Ryan Stevens, would you like to give us a report?
Yes, sir, thank you. The attached agreement is an agreement to allow the addition of the fire district property into the urban renewal area. The urban renewal was formed before the fire district annexed its property into the city limits. And after it was formed, the fire chief, Del Vecchio, reached out to me asking if they could include their parcel into the urban renewal area. This agreement allows for the addition and also agrees that adding the property is not a major modification. Is that substantial? Thank you. To the urban renewal plan. Several of the other taxing entities have already approved this, actually a couple of years ago. One of the things that we were waiting, one of the conditions of the annexation was that the fire district would figure out, there was an orphan strip of land between their property and the BLM property. And they had to try and figure out who that piece of property belonged to. They recently reached out to us, letting us know that that property does not necessarily belong to them. It's believed that it belongs to BLM. So there really isn't anything that the fire district can do to rectify that situation. So with that information, we'd like to bring this forward and include that property into the urban renewal area.
Thank you. And this is And so the ask tonight is for approval of this agreement, is that correct?
That is correct, yes, sir. There are other steps that will have to come before the Urban Renewal Board, but this is the only step that comes before the City Council.
Okay. Questions, comments from council? I do have a question. Have all of the required, have all of the districts that are required signatories to this agreement indicated their approval for the agreement?
I believe we have agreement or approvals from the majority of them. I know that we have to follow up with the metro districts. I think during the time that it went to the other districts, they were transitioning and forming their boards and figuring out some of the ownership stuff that was going on with 4 Mile Ranch. I believe those are the only ones that we still have to get signatories for. But the water districts have signed, the rec district signed, I believe the county and the fire district have signed as well.
Thank you. To follow up on that, what happens if one of those districts says no?
That would be a question for Mr. Hoffman.
Then we would have to go through the entire substantial modification process, which means the same exact process as when we adopted the plan, including the public hearings and including amended and restated cooperation agreements with each of the taxing entities.
Thank you for that. Councilmember Schmischer.
Thank you. Administrator Stevens, could you share a little bit more about why the fire district wants this property to be included within the URA?
When they subdivided their property, they created 2 commercial parcels up front. And as part of selling those parcels, they've been asked whether or not those parcels are part of the urban renewal area. They currently have somebody who's interested in one of those parcels who's been asking whether or not the property is part of the urban renewal area.
Thank you.
Any other questions? So do we need to vote on this?
Be a motion and second and
Thank you.
a vote, yes, sir.
Okay. Any further questions? Then I'm open to a motion. Councilmember Tracy.
I move that we approve the requested addition of fire district property into the Urban Renewal Authority boundary, the property as described in the legal description that we were emailed.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second, and that includes approval of the agreement as presented.
Yes.
Would that be correct? Thank you. Thank you for accepting that. Any discussion on the motion? Then we're ready for a roll call.
Councilmember Maloney,
Aye.
Schmischer,
Aye.
Stein,
Aye.
Tracy,
Aye.
Worthington,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Hamrick.
Aye. All right, our next regular city council meeting is scheduled for June 3rd, 2024, and with that, we're adjourned.